History never stops moving. It evolves. It is fluid. What history looks like today is different from what it looked like, say, 100 years ago. And what today's history in the making looks like now may be seen very differently just 20 years from now. Did anyone in 1955 really think that Rosa Parks' refusal to give up her seat would spark a movement that would change the course of history? Did Cleopatra know that her actions as ruler would be remembered and studied for centuries to come? Join us as we dive into the lives of 15 human marvels who changed history. Let's start off with number 15, Frank Wills. Frank Wills didn't clock in expecting to make history, but that's exactly what happened on June 17, 1972. As a security guard at the Watergate office building, Wills noticed something odd during his midnight rounds: tape placed over the lock on a basement door. Thinking it was a simple oversight, he removed it and carried on. But when the tape mysteriously reappeared, Wills trusted his instincts and called the police. That small act of diligence unraveled a massive political scandal, eventually forcing President Nixon to resign. Wills didn't see himself as a hero. He was just doing his job. Yet his sharp eye and quick thinking exposed corruption at the highest level, proving that even ordinary actions can have extraordinary consequences. It's ironic that Wills, a humble guard earning minimum wage, toppled one of the most powerful men in the world. Next time you check a lock, remember, small moments can change the course of history. Number 14, Niels Bohlin. In 1958, Niels Bohlin, an engineer at Volvo, quietly revolutionized road safety with a single invention: the three-point seatbelt. Before Bohlin, cars had lap belts that were about as effective as crossing your fingers in a crash. His design, however, was genius in its simplicity, anchoring the belt at 3 points to protect both the upper and lower body. When Volvo unveiled the invention, some drivers balked. "You can't tell me what to wear in my own car," they grumbled. But Bohlin wasn't swayed. Over time, people realized that seatbelts weren't just a nuisance, they were lifesavers. Since then, the three-point seatbelt has become a standard in every car, saving millions of lives worldwide. Bohlin's legacy is a quiet one. You won't find his name in most history books, but every time you buckle up, you're benefiting from his brilliance. Who knew a piece of fabric could be the ultimate hero on the road? Number 13, Rosa Parks. On December 1, 1955, Rosa Parks boarded a bus in Montgomery, Alabama, after a long day at work. When the driver demanded she give up her seat for a white passenger, she simply said, "No." That one word echoed louder than she could have imagined. Parks was arrested, sparking the Montgomery bus boycott, a 381-day protest that became a cornerstone of the civil rights movement. Parks didn't set out to be a hero. She was just tired of injustice. Her quiet defiance wasn't just about a seat. It was about demanding respect, equality, and basic human rights. She later became known as the mother of the civil rights movement, and her bravery inspired countless others to take a stand. Sometimes history isn't made by grand speeches or sweeping actions. It's made by a single person, sitting firmly in their truth. Rosa Parks reminds us all that courage doesn't have to be loud to be revolutionary. Number 12, Philo Farnsworth. Philo Farnsworth was only 21 when he made history in 1927 by transmitting the first image over the air, a simple straight line. By 1929, he'd fine-tuned the process enough to send a slightly blurry picture of his wife. He called his invention an image dissector, but we now know it as television. Despite his brilliance, Farnsworth wasn't a household name. His competitor, John Logie Baird, had better business acumen and hogged much of the spotlight. Farnsworth, meanwhile, struggled to patent his ideas and keep up with big corporations muscling into the TV game. Though he never got the recognition he deserved, Farnsworth's contributions changed the way we live. From live news to Netflix binges, it all started with his blurry experiments. So, next time you're glued to your screen, give a little mental toast to Philo, the genius who made modern entertainment possible, even if fame eluded him. Number 11. Napoleon Bonaparte. Napoleon Bonaparte's reputation is larger than life, ironic considering his stature. Born in 1769 on the tiny island of Corsica, Napoleon rose to become one of history's most formidable military leaders. Whether you view him as a hero or a tyrant, there's no denying his impact. Napoleon's achievements went beyond the battlefield. His Napoleonic Code laid the groundwork for modern legal systems, and he standardized the metric system, making life easier for math teachers everywhere. He also oversaw major societal reforms in post-revolutionary France, giving the nation stability after years of chaos. Of course, his ambition led to his downfall. Napoleon's infamous invasion of Russia and subsequent exile didn't exactly scream triumph. But even in defeat, his influence endured. Love him or hate him, Napoleon's story is a powerful reminder that audacity can change the world. Just maybe don't march into Russia in winter. Number 10. Mohamed Bouazizi. Mohamed Bouazizi never intended to start a revolution. A Tunisian street vendor trying to support his family, he faced constant harassment from authorities. In December 2010, after yet another humiliating encounter, Bouazizi set himself on fire in protest. His tragic act became a symbol of the everyday oppression faced by millions. Bouazizi's death sparked outrage across Tunisia, leading to nationwide protests that ousted dictator Zine El Abidine Ben Ali. But it didn't stop there. The unrest spread like wildfire, fueling the Arab Spring, a series of uprisings that toppled regimes in Egypt and Libya and reshaped the political landscape of the Middle East. Though Bouazizi didn't live to see the impact of his sacrifice, his courage inspired millions to demand dignity and freedom. His story is a poignant reminder that even the smallest voices, when silenced, can spark movements that change the course of history. Now let's move to Number 9. Ismail Al-Jazari. Long before robotics competitions or YouTube tutorials, Ismail Al-Jazari was the ultimate tech wizard. Born in 1136, this Turkish polymath wrote a compendium on the theory and useful practice of the mechanical arts, basically a medieval DIY manual for mind-blowing inventions. His designs were so detailed and ahead of their time that modern engineers can still recreate them without breaking a sweat. What do we owe to Al-Jazari? Oh, just little things like alarm clocks, hand-washing devices, and early humanoid robots. No big deal. His creations weren't just functional, they were beautifully intricate, proving that engineering could also be an art. During the Muslim Crusades, his brilliance traveled to Europe, inspiring Renaissance legends like Leonardo da Vinci. Imagine da Vinci flipping through Al-Jazari's designs thinking, now that's genius. Ismail didn't just shape technology, he showed the world how creativity and mechanics could work hand in hand. Not bad for a guy who predated the Industrial Revolution by centuries. Number 8. Maurice Hilleman. Maurice Hilleman may not have worn a cape, but he saved more lives than most superheroes. This vaccine genius didn't just stop at one life-changing breakthrough. He went on to develop over 40 vaccines, many of which are still in use today. In 1963, when his daughter caught the mumps, Maurice didn't panic. Instead, he swabbed her throat, rushed to his lab, and got to work. The result? The mumps vaccine has protected countless kids since, and that was just the start. Hilleman's creations, like the MMR, measles, mumps, rubella vaccine, have prevented diseases ranging from hepatitis to chickenpox, saving millions of lives globally. Despite his low profile, Maurice's impact is monumental. His work isn't flashy. It's quiet, steady, and absolutely life-saving. Next time you get a vaccine, tip your hat to the man who turned science into a shield, making the world healthier. one jab at a time. Number 7. Marie Curie. Marie Curie wasn't just breaking glass ceilings, she was shattering scientific norms. Born in Poland in 1867, Curie became the first woman to win a Nobel Prize, and just for kicks, she won a second one later. Her groundbreaking discoveries of polonium and radium not only changed science but also changed medicine forever. Curie's work on radioactivity paved the way for using radiation to treat tumors, giving hope to millions battling cancer. Oh, and she helped develop X-rays, which revolutionized how we see the human body, literally. But her life wasn't all lab coats and accolades. She faced immense sexism, struggled for funding, and risked her own health in the name of progress. Despite everything, her dedication and brilliance left a legacy that's still glowing, figuratively and, well, literally. Marie Curie didn't just change the world, she lit it up, one radioactive element at a time. Number 6. Cleopatra. Cleopatra wasn't just a queen, she was a force of nature. Ruling Egypt for nearly 30 years, she mastered the art of survival in a male-dominated world while turning her kingdom into a superpower. Forget the love stories. Cleopatra's real strength lay in her intelligence, political savvy, and ability to make even the mightiest men listen. Sure, her high-profile alliances with Julius Caesar and Mark Antony made headlines, well, papyrus lines. But her focus was always on Egypt's prosperity. Cleopatra used Rome's resources to make her kingdom richer, stronger, and more influential. Her reign ended tragically after her defeat by Octavian, but Cleopatra's story remains legendary. She proved that women could wield power as effectively, if not more so, than men. Cleopatra wasn't just a ruler, she was a strategist, a diplomat, and a visionary. History remembers her not for her beauty, but for her brilliance. Number 5. Tiananmen Tank Man. Some heroes are celebrated by name, others by their sheer defiance. Tank Man, the anonymous figure who stood in front of a column of tanks near Tiananmen Square in 1989, is the latter. With shopping bags in hand, he faced down one of the most powerful symbols of oppression, and that image has become an enduring icon of resistance. We don't know his name, his fate, or what motivated his bravery, but his actions spoke volumes. Tank Man didn't need a speech or a spotlight. His quiet stand against tyranny captured the world's attention and inspired millions to question authority. While the Chinese government tried to erase his act of defiance from history, the image of Tank Man lives on as a reminder that one person, even unarmed and anonymous, can challenge an entire system. Sometimes, courage is simply standing your ground, shopping bags and all. Number 4. Lois Gibbs. In the 1970s, Lois Gibbs was your average housewife in Niagara Falls, New York, until she discovered her neighborhood, Love Canal, was built near 20,000 tons of toxic chemicals. Her 2 children were seriously ill, and so were her neighbors' kids. When no one stepped up to fix the problem, Gibbs rolled up her sleeves and did it herself. She founded the Citizens Clearinghouse for Hazardous Waste, now the Center for Health, Environment, and Justice, and fought tooth and nail to get 800 families evacuated. Her efforts didn't just clean up Love Canal, they led to the creation of the EPA's Superfund program to tackle hazardous waste nationwide. What's inspiring about Gibbs is that she wasn't a scientist or an activist when this started, just a determined mom who wasn't taking no for an answer. She turned her frustration into action and showed the world that one person really can make a difference, even against 20,000 tons of poison. Number 3. Lewis Latimer. Lewis Latimer might not be as famous as Edison or Bell, but he was the genius working behind the scenes to make their ideas work. Born to parents who escaped slavery, Latimer went on to help Alexander Graham Bell patent the telephone. A big deal, no doubt. But that wasn't his brightest moment. In 1881, Latimer invented a carbon filament for the incandescent light bulb, solving Edison's little problem of bulbs that only stayed lit for a few minutes. Thanks to Latimer, light bulbs became practical, lasting hours instead of seconds. But wait, there's more. Latimer was a trailblazer in the electric lighting industry and the only black member of Edison's prestigious Edison Pioneers group. He also invented a flushing train toilet, no small mercy, and a hospital device that reduced infections. Latimer wasn't just a draftsman. He was a brilliant innovator whose ideas literally lit up the world. Number 2. Sir Tim Berners-Lee. Sir Tim Berners-Lee, the British computer scientist, gave us one of the greatest gifts of modern life, the World Wide Web. Back in 1989, the internet was a confusing tangle of isolated bits and pieces, about as organized as a toddler's toy chest. Berners-Lee's groundbreaking idea? Marry hypertext, those clickable links we now take for granted, with the internet to create a global platform where anyone could share and access information. The result? The World Wide Web, a revolutionary tool that transformed how we live, work, and yes, binge cat videos. By 1994, the web became a worldwide phenomenon, revolutionizing communication, education, and even the way we argue over pizza delivery times. Instead of profiting from his invention, Berners-Lee chose to make it free for everyone, a move as generous as it was visionary. Knighted by Queen Elizabeth II in 2004, he's a true digital age hero. So next time you're scrolling, streaming, or shopping online, raise a virtual toast to the man who made it all possible. Number 1. Gavrilo Princip. Gavrilo Princip was a 19-year-old with a grudge and a gun when he fired the shots that forever altered history. On June 28, 1914, he assassinated Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria and his wife Sophie in Sarajevo. It seemed like a small act, but it set off a chain reaction that plunged the world into chaos. Austria-Hungary invaded Serbia, Germany joined in, and soon, World War I was raging across Europe. Over 18 million people died, and the war's aftermath eventually set the stage for World War II. Talk about a butterfly effect, except in this case, the butterfly was an angry teenager with tuberculosis. Princip was too young for execution, so he was sentenced to 20 years in prison but died of illness in 1918, just before the war ended. His actions remind us how a single event, no matter how small it seems at the time, can send shockwaves through history. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe for more fascinating content like this. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.